Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Andrea Befus. Andrea Befus is a health and confidence coach who believes that women everywhere can feel confident in their own skin through mastering their thoughts, understanding their heart, and optimizing their health. Welcome to the podcast, Andrea.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Likewise, and I'm honored to have you today. Can you start off by telling us about you and where you're from?
Of course, I grew up all over. I was born in Tokyo. I've lived in Istanbul, Albania, Chicago, kind of everywhere. But right now I'm in Utah and I'm a health and confidence coach.
I love it. Now tell us more about how to have an unwavering confidence in your health and self.
Yes. Is it okay if I back up a little bit and tell kind of my story? It'll make a little bit more sense. So I grew up in a really healthy home. My mom cooked amazing food. We went on obstacle 5Ks, and just by default, I lived a healthy lifestyle. But when I left my home, went to college, and I got married, I completely jumped off the healthy train. 100%. I started eating my favorite food, mac and cheese, all the time. I stopped working out, and I thought I was being my own person. No, I was just making bad health decisions. And I reached this point where I was so low self-confidence. I hated how I looked. I was not confident in my relationship with my husband. And I just reached this point where I thought, you know what, this is not who I want to be. This is not where I want to go in my life. And so I kind of hired a life coach, and she started telling me all these things about your mindset and your thoughts. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. But I actually ignored her in all of the health stuff. And I thought, no, there's no way. And so I just kind of ignored her. But I applied her principles to other areas of my life, and it started clicking. And when it started clicking, I thought, you know what, she might actually know what she's talking about. And so I started applying it to the health stuff, and it changed my life. When I finally realized that my worth is not connected to my looks and the number on the scale, that's where my journey began of unwavering confidence in my health and self. Happened in that moment when I gave up worrying about that dang number on the scale.
That is amazing. Very powerful. Now, can you tell us more about your principle in regards to how to not compare yourself to others?
Yes, this is something that we all do. I work with a lot of women, and it's something we do. We scroll social media, we look in magazines, we look in the news, and we see all these people with the perfect body or how we want ourselves to look, and we just naturally compare ourselves to them. But what is happening is by doing this, we are using the mental energy that we could be using more productively. When we're comparing ourselves, we're using that mental energy in a way that's not helpful to us. And when we compare ourselves, we're not looking inward, we're looking outwards. And so what I teach is using the mental energy, we're going to shift that from thinking about other people and what they're doing, and we're going to shift it more to ourselves and having more productive thoughts about our nutrition and our confidence and our worth. Because once we switch and shift that mental energy, we're able to have amazing results.
Wonderful. Now tell us more about how to leverage your current nutrition so you never have to diet again.
Yes, I am huge on this. So I'm going to tell a little story to kind of illustrate this, because when I kind of had that shift of not connecting my worth to the number on the scale, I started dieting and I started working out, and nothing was actually working. And I was getting super frustrated and confused because I was doing all the right things. But the problem is I didn't have the right mindset while I was doing those actions. And so for fun, I joined a low carb contest at work, and I work in IT. And so I work with a bunch of really nice old guys. And every January they have a contest where you can have 30 grams of carbs a day. And that's like one slice of bread, literally nothing. And so I couldn't eat any of my favorite foods at all. And so as I was going through this, about 2 weeks in, I woke up a total monster. It was a Sunday morning, and my husband, bless his heart, he said, Andrea, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Because I was snappy and I was just short, and I'm not like that. And he said, well, what's going on? Like, how's your health competition going? And I said, well, I lost almost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. And he said, you what? And that's when I realized that this is not the way to do it. Cutting out our favorite foods, cutting out the sugars, the carbs, the fats, cutting all of that out is not sustainable. And so when I say that we can leverage our current nutrition, what I mean by that is use your favorite foods right now and let's learn how to sustainably eat them. And so we don't have to cut them all out.
I love how you touch base on not having to take out all your favorite foods.
Yes.
So good point. Now tell us more about how not to stress over the number on the scale.
Yes, this is huge and something I love talking about. It's a little bit similar to when we compare ourselves to others, because it's so funny when our brains do this. When we fixate on the number on the scale, we are putting so much worth on that. And it's so dumb, but we all do it. And we don't want to beat ourselves up for doing it because we all do it. And so by using that mental energy to fixate on the number, we're tying our worth to that. And we don't want to do that because our worth is all about our inner value, and we all have value. Just like you and me and everyone listening, you have value. And so when we tie that value to the number on the scale, it doesn't even make sense because a number means nothing. I'm 6 feet tall. That number on the scale is not going to be someone that's 5'2". We could have the same number, but it means different things for multiple people. So we want to be able to just completely distance ourselves from the number and still hit your health goal. But people think that fixating on that number is going to motivate them to hit their health goal, but that's not what happens. When we fixate on the number, it actually hurts us and we can't reach our health goal as quick as we want to.
That's right. Great point. Now tell us more about some of the challenges you've had to overcome in your life.
Yeah, that I remember there was a point in the beginning of my marriage when everything was going really good, but then kind of a stress bomb was thrown into our marriage. And it's not important what happened, but the emotions that came from it was my husband and I, we both felt so alone and so confused and frustrated and disappointed and thinking, why is this happening to us? And I remember one night I was sitting on my bed and I thought, I literally don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm unhealthy. I'm stressed out. My marriage is on the rocks. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But when I had that epiphany moment of, no, I am going to act for myself. I'm not going to be acted upon. I'm going to be able to take control of my life and make decisions so that I'm not the victim and so that I can make change in my own life. And if things around me work out, then they work out. If they don't, then that's okay. I'm going to get through it. Because when we have challenges in our relationships, with our family, with ourselves, with food, with our health, these relationships are powerful. And so when I had this moment of, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is going to work out, that was a pivotal moment because when I came through that, I now look back on it and think, yeah, that was so hard, but I got through it. So I know that I can keep doing hard things in the future.
That is very powerful. Now, you mentioned that you realized you were unhealthy. How did you realize that?
It was kind of an emotional thing. I didn't feel like myself. I'm a pretty positive, happy person, and I felt sad and tired and sluggish. And it's funny, when you're 6 feet tall and you gain 30 pounds, nobody notices. No one's going to tell you like, oh, you put on weight, which is the worst. Never comment on someone's weight, but no one did because I'm 6 feet tall and it's just, that didn't happen. And it's so funny when it happened to me, I knew that I was unhealthy because I didn't feel like myself. And initially I wanted to have that perfect body that I saw on social media. That's what it started out with. But it evolved into being, no, that's not what I want. I just want to feel like myself again. And I want to feel confident in my decision-making and in my relationships.
Wonderful. Tell us more about your aha moments that you've experienced in your life.
The aha moments are amazing, and we've all had them. One of the aha moments was that Sunday morning when I realized, holy cow, cutting out carbs is not for me. And it's funny, it can be different for everyone. A lot of people that are in the health world, they know that keto or cutting out sugars, or like, you hear all of these things and you think they're amazing, and yes, they do work, but they're short term. Those almost 15 pounds that I lost in 2 weeks, that's not a sustainable thing. I'm not going to cut out carbs the rest of my life. Like, who's going to do that? And so it's just really interesting how sometimes we put value in what's going on around us, but not what we need, because it's different for everyone. We all have different bodies, different goals, and different thoughts going on in our head. And we all have a different solution.
That's right. Now, what are some of the steps that you took to shift your mindset and your actions as well to reach your goal?
Yes. What I teach, I have a 5-step system. And step number 1 is realizing how you got here. Number 2 is identifying where you want to go. 3 is optimizing your health. 4 is overcoming your hurdles. And number 5 is creating momentum for yourself. And so the steps, I work in IT, so I'm all about workflows and processes, and the health world is sometimes kind of wishy-washy. So like, I like having steps in line. And so these 5 steps are the process that I took that I wasn't seeing anywhere else. And so your question of mindset and nutrition, the first thing that I teach is mindset, because you can do as much as you want in your life, but you won't be able to keep doing that or see the results that you want long term if you don't have the right thoughts. And so I teach first about the power of thoughts in our head and the power of the results that come from thoughts and our actions that come there. Because if you have productive thoughts, then you'll have productive actions. And if you have productive actions, you'll have amazing results.
That's right. And how important is positive self-talk?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So important. So many people think that if they think self-deprecating thoughts about themselves, it will motivate them to act. Think, oh, I just need to work on my thighs, or I need to work on my arms or my stomach or my belly area. I just need to work on that. It doesn't look good. And if I work on it and if I fixate on that, then I'll be motivated to keep going. No. That's not what we that's not what we want to do. Because when we do that, again, we're spending that mental energy with that negative self-talk, and that's not going to get us anywhere. So when we have positive self-talk, we're tying our worth to ourselves and who we are as a person, and not what we look like. So it's so important.
That's right. And now you're also a confidence coach. Can you tell the audience how important it is to love yourself first and foremost over anything?
Yes. Everyone on this earth has value, no matter who you are. And so your confidence comes from who you are. If you know to your core what your values are, who you want to be, how you want to show up in your relationships, when you know who you are and where you want to go, you make confident decisions, whether it's in your job or in your family or in your business. No matter what you're doing, if you feel confident in yourself, you will make confident decisions. The worst feeling is when you make a decision and think, oh, I don't know, maybe that wasn't the best idea. Maybe I should have done this. No, we want to make decisions. We want to stick with them, and then we can move on. If it was the wrong decision, or if we should have done something else, then we look at it and say, hey, that's okay. That's a decision I made. I felt good about it, but let's shift and let's do something else. Because when we have powerful, confident decision making, that's when we move leaps and bounds forward in our life.
That's right. Now, how important is it when you make a decision such as the word no, you say, no, I'm not going to do this, to actually stand in that no?
Yes. I used to struggle with this. I say yes a lot to people, and then I become drained and I get burnt out. And when you say no, it's important to know your own limits. Just by saying no, it doesn't mean it's going to negatively impact someone else. Because if you do something that's out of your realm of knowledge or energy and you push yourself too far, you're detrimenting yourself. And if when you are not working at full capacity, then you can't serve those around you. If you say yes too many times, you're not going to work to your full capacity and to serve to what you want to do if you're just doing too much. It's better to do little extremely powerfully and positively than do a lot of things with half effort because you're just so dang tired all the time.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Now, you also mentioned a lot about dieting and things of that nature. Can you explain to the audience how important it is to set clear and measurable goals?
Yes. So I don't believe in dieting. Just for the record, I don't think it's a long-term solution unless you have a medical professional tell you. That's a different story. But if you are on a general health journey and you want to feel healthier and you are trying to lose weight or you want to tone out, there are ways to do that without dieting. And so when you make healthy decisions and you are able to have sustainable nutrition, that's when you can have sustainable health. It's so interesting when we leverage our own nutrition, when we keep the foods that we love, when we keep the thoughts that are productive, that's when we're able to move forward and be able to have amazing results. We can have the life that we want. It's just so exciting.
Yes, ma'am. Now, Andrea, what gives you the most joy in your life?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably doing the things I love with the people I love. So whether that's go-karting with my husband because he loves cars, or cooking with my mom because we both love cooking, or whether it's coaching. I love coaching. I'm doing something I love with my clients who I genuinely love.
Now, what does your ideal client look like?
Oh, a woman who has tried all of the things. They're not seeing the results they want, and they know that there is a solution out there, but they just haven't heard it yet. They're just spinning in circles. They don't know where to go. They know that they want to love themselves, but they just don't know how yet.
I love it. Now, Andrea, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Know who you are. If you can sit down, have a quiet moment, get out a journal and a pen, and just write down who is the person that you want to be. 10 years from now, who do you want to be? Write that down and then act like her today or act like him today. Because as you act in that future, if you want to be that person, do it now. So then you can just start making the steps even faster about being the future you.
That's right. If you can see it, you can be it. Amen. I love it. Andrea, thank you so much for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. It was an honor.
You're welcome. Now, where can the audience find you?
I am pretty much on everything. If you want to contact me directly, I love meeting new people. Instagram, I'm Andrea.Befus, Befus. But if anything I've said has resonated with you, I've written an ebook. It's called 5 Steps to Unwavering Confidence in Your Health and True Self. And that is at livinghealthywithandrea.com/ebook.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Andrea at livinghealthywithandrea.com. And Andrea, again, thank you so much again for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.